sorry that I am a couple of minutes late once again. I'm always running late. I just got swamped taking care of some work. I've got a report due tomorrow. So for that reason, I ended up being a couple minutes late. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you all enjoyed my discussion this morning, or I guess this afternoon. I thought it went really well, talking about National Accessibility Week in Canada, how we can build a more accessible community, accessible world, and within Freemasonry, accessibility therein. And the history of Scottish Rite as well, Southern jurisdiction specifically. With that in mind, we're just going to wait. We're just going to hang out. We're going to wait to see who joins. I hope you'll take a moment. If you're new, hit like and subscribe. Help me get over 5,000 subs, and let's see what we can do. I'm currently working on the Cornerstone project, and so that's proving very fun, but also very challenging. There's a lot to do. It was also today Ontario Day. I'm grateful to be an Ontario resident, an Ontario Freemason. It's something I'm very, very proud of. So there's that as well. And let's give it a few moments. Let's wait to see who joins. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. As you may know, for these 1 a.m. streams, I don't have any particular discussion points. Rather, I just hang out, talk about whatever, see what people want to say. Yes, the next trip is Friday. I'm going back home to Winnipeg. So I'm going to do a quick stream from the airport and then another one when I arrive. I'm thinking about doing a 24-hour live stream if possible next week as well when I get back, because it's been a while since I've done those and they're always fun. I always really enjoy them. So I shall see. But trip-wise, next one is Winnipeg. I want to get back to Chicago as soon as I possibly can because it's my favorite place in the world. So once I get the chance, I will, that's my goal, is to do so. But for now, we're just going to wait to see who joins. My trips thus far have been amazing, have been incredible, and I'm grateful for all of them. So I hope to do more, without a doubt. So Nam, how's it going for you? I hope you're doing well and having a good day or good night. I don't know what time it is for you, but nonetheless, I hope you're doing well. And let's just give it some time and let's wait to see who joins. Don't forget, February 22nd, 9:30, we're going to start my fireworks stream. We're going to be watching the fireworks. They start at 10 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be like 4 a.m. your time or something like that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a way to celebrate Canada and the United States. We as Freemasons should always care about our communities and want to support them and want to see them launch. That's Windsor and Detroit. And I got some incredible views of the fireworks. So there is that as well. Hello, Anima Sana. Thank you for being here. Many people have said I'm crazy. You know what's really crazy? Not hitting the like and subscribe button. I'm going to say that that is what will make you go crazy. So please hit like, please hit subscribe. Thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any thoughts you want to share. I have been talking about mental health on this channel a lot. I don't know if that's the thing you want to talk about, particularly how we within Freemasonry can help and support mental health, which I think is incredibly important. But let me know what your thoughts are. We're going to give it a bit of time. We're just going to wait to see who joins. We're just waiting to see who wants to jump on and say hello. As I was noting, these 1 a.m. streams, I don't have any particular decisions or topics. I just kind of chat about whatever. So anything you guys want to talk about, let's hear it. I did mention today is Global Day of Parents for the United Nations. I've interviewed my mom and my dad on this channel about Freemasonry and their connections therein. And so that is something I did post. Happy People's Day, hello people, happy Monday. Hello, Daniel, Sports Highlights. What did I eat today? Not enough. I had pizza. I had cookies. I had some cappuccino and hot chocolate and coffee. So I did not eat nearly enough. That is something I got to work on and get more food in me or get better food in me. I always talk about being healthy and strong, and yet I never follow through. So I got to work on that without question. What about you? What did you eat today? And better question, did you hit the like and subscribe button? Everybody watching this, thank you for being here. Please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. Well, Nate, that is not true. I've never been to Wisconsin, in point of fact. There's always going to be some people. All right, for the time being, as always, please jump on the stream. Let me know how you're doing. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear them. We're just going to hang out and chill, wait to see who joins. As always, I hope everybody's doing very well. It's interesting. One thing I will say, as somebody who is content creating on Facebook, or sorry, on YouTube, excuse me, to see the success of YouTubers recently, backrooms, stuck in the movie sphere. I wonder if that is going to equate with more success for non-movie or entertainment related channels. I'm really curious about that. Slender, my channel is about Freemasonry. I promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it was located, and also share stories of Masonic interest. I also very much enjoy talking about and supporting or trying to turn my passion for Freemasonry into profession. So, Slender, please hit like, please hit subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. Dag Gamut, I'm going to call you Dag. Well, you know what? Hit the like and subscribe button anyways. How's about that? Because this is my favorite thing to talk about. And my goal, like I said, is to turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. So I'm not saying I'm always going to succeed, but I do my best. And so far, I am growing this channel. So that's a very exciting thing. You can help me grow. No, I mean, Freemasons were not a bunch of murderers, and we never tried to force our rule onto anyone. That's not what Freemasonry is about. So, BEEJ 7723, you are getting a lot of incorrect information. We're a social club, a social group. That's it. It's both better and not nearly as interesting as people think it is. It's a club, it's a group. It's just one that's been around for a while and has done a lot of good in the world, and one that I love. No, the Knights Templar predates Freemasonry by about 400 years, give or take. So it's a little bit backwards. The Knights Templar was first, Freemasonry came second. And then later, when Freemasonry started to grow, it looked back at the Knights Templars and decided to adopt, steal, borrow, reconnect, connect with the symbolism. The connection between the initial connection of Freemasons and Knights Templars actually done in 1737 by an oration by a French Mason whose name was, if I recall correctly, and I could be mistaken, Raymond Chevalier, or Chevalier Andrew Raymond, who claimed a connection between Freemasons and Crusaders, which most took to mean the Knights Templars. Thank you, The What's Experience. It's great to be back and it's great to be home. I loved being traveling. It's my favorite thing to do in the world, genuinely. Um, but I'm happy to be back as well. I do not, and part of that is because of the way I travel. The Waits Experience. Have you seen or read any of my work on Medium about how I travel? I'm very careful in how I travel to do so safely. I keep backup documents and backup electronic copies of all of my physical documents. So if I lose anything, I register with the government so they know where I'm traveling to, if it's especially if in an area that's any type of danger. I keep myself physically fit and healthy, which reduces anxiety in general, but also when traveling. I make sure to stay hydrated. I know tips for how to travel well. I keep a budget. I pay attention to all the different rates of exchange, keep my phone charged, know about data. All of that stuff reduces anxiety. And so, yeah, I do not get anxiety while I travel. I do it so much. Travel truly is a skill. And because it's a skill, it's one of those things where it's easy to avoid anxiety. I think very often anxiety comes from a lack of skill and a lack of preparation more so than anything else. So, hello, Grady. Thank you for being here. So, The Waits Experience, have you followed me on Medium? And if not, don't be alarmed. I'm going to provide you with a link to an article you can read about my travels, and hopefully you will follow me on Medium. Um, it's free to do. Doesn't cost anything, and it would be truly appreciated. So just give me 1 second. I'm trying to grow my channels outside of YouTube, although obviously this is my first and favorite place. Um, I want to try to, share my travels beyond that, or share my content beyond that. You don't even have to keep it secret. You don't have to worry about that. You can eat cold mashed potatoes. It's fine. I mean, I think it'd be gross. I think it's gross. I think you should be eating not cold mashed potatoes, but that's just my humble opinion. Now, day old mashed potatoes, add some flour, some cheese, some egg, um, some cinnamon if it's sweet potatoes. Put it in the frying pan, create a fried potato pancake. That is delicious, believe me. So the Waits Experience, if you copy and paste what I put in the stream, that should maybe give you some advice on how to reduce anxiety attacks while you're traveling. And please follow me on Medium. Matt, why are we going to bring the demon out of you? And when you say you people, who be you people? Um, L King, welcome. Thank you for being here. Henry Jones, convinced you to be a Mason? I guess that's a good thing. Although, again, my goal is not necessarily to convince anybody of anything. It's just to promote Freemasonry and how much I love it. Hello, L King. Thank you for being here. Really need to promote how much I love free. It's just for me to talk about a thing I love. Um, that's the most important thing, right? If other people choose to love it as well, that's great. If they don't, that's okay too. It's not up to me to necessarily say. I think one of the mistakes we make in Freemasonry sometimes is we focus so much on trying to convince other people to have a certain view of Freemasonry. It's better to just, for me to just share my view of Freemasonry, share what I love about Freemasonry, and hopefully in doing so, others are better able to understand why I love it, and that may encourage them to look into it, or it may not. Either way is perfectly fine. Oh, well, there you go, Henry Jones. Believe me, those are really, really good. So, yes, I would agree with that 100%. Trust me on this. Take your day old mashed potatoes, add some flour, add some egg, add some cheese, fry them up in a frying pan, keep them together. You're gonna have some absolutely delicious potato pancakes. What is your incentive for trusting Freemasons? I don't know what that would mean. I mean, what is your incentive for trusting anyone? Living in a trusting world is better than living in a non-trusting world. I mean, what do you gain from trusting anybody? A lot of it depends on the extent to which you want a relationship with Freemasonry in terms of if you want to ever join. If you never want to join and want nothing to do with Freemasonry, then I guess you don't gain anything from trusting or not trusting Freemasonry other than it's probably better to live your life trusting people who deserve to be trusted from a mental health perspective. Crow's milk, it depends on the lodge. For example, there are some lodges, they're known as liberal lodges, which do allow for atheists to join. They're primarily located in Europe. But I've always said, and I do still stand by this, the definition of supreme being within Freemasonry is so broadly defined that a lot of people who might be considered atheists in traditional sense would be considered suitable to be Freemasons. I might be one of them. No, but it mentions how to travel. And if you know how to travel safely, that will help you reduce your anxiety. First one, I don't do crack at all, and you should not either. It's bad for you. Fur, I mean, I'm happy to try to provide mentorship through this channel, through Medium, through my social media posts, but you need to keep in mind, um, it's not like mentorship within Freemasonry should really be done one on one. I truly believe that. And while I love being on YouTube and I'm grateful to be on YouTube, it's not the best place from which to get your mentorship. Yes, this is a Masons channel. This is a Masonic channel. Please hit like, please hit subscribe if you're new to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Well, then I feel bad for her because everybody always says I'm really ugly. So keeping that in mind, I feel bad for her. I'm sure she's better looking than me. Everybody always says how ugly I am on this channel. I've grown used to it. Nope, I've never signed a contract. I signed an application form, but that's not a contract. Ultimately, Freemasonry, you're joining of your own free will and accord. There's no contracts to be signed. And I mean, I didn't know you had to work in Scientology, but in Freemasonry, the amount of time you dedicate to it is completely up to you, for better or worse. There are some who show up for their first meeting and never show up again. There are others who show up for, hundreds of meetings every year, literally. Like, I can't tell you the number of meetings I've been to in my lifetime. It's over 2,000, probably, easily, at this point. Um, Who is only 33rd and up? I'm a third degree and 18th degree Scottish Rite, and I'm happy to be at both of those. I don't need to go up any higher. What I need people to get higher, though, is my subscriber count. So hit like, hit subscribe. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, let me know. Any questions? I will do my best to answer. I can't make any promises. I can answer every question, but I'll answer the ones I can. I've been a Freemason for just about 20 years, member of 5 Masonic lodges. He was, but keep in mind, sometimes a coincidence is just a coincidence. So you need to remember that as well. 33 degrees, it's the number after 32. And again, 33rd is not the highest degree in Freemasonry, that's the 3rd degree. We do not sign any non-disclosure agreements. We take an obligation to keep certain things private. However, if we choose to break it, there's really nothing that can be done legally or otherwise. And we know that because the secrets have been revealed at this point dozens of times across multiple platforms. That doesn't mean you should look them up. I'm just saying this idea of non-disclosure agreements, ultimately, you're a Mason, so we're trusting your word. We're not making you sign anything. That would kind of defeat the point of an obligation or an oath. No, 3938, nor should there be, because that would be illegal. And Freemasons should be compliant with the laws of the country in which they live and in which they work or travel through. Don't forget, it's been a little while, but if you do a $2 super chat, or if you do a $2 super chat, you will get the voice text to speech option. You like to hear your super chat text to speech. So it's interesting. Jesus, I used to always say no, he was a carpenter, not a stonemason. But I've recently read some reports that indicate he was actually, the technical definition is craftsman, and craftsman means both a carpenter and someone who worked with stone. So yes, Jesus was a stonemason, not a Freemason. Freemasonry did not exist until about 2,000 years after, but he was a stonemason. There are many Chinese Freemasons. There are Freemasons from all different ethnicities and backgrounds. Within China itself, there's Freemasonry in Hong Kong and Macau. Not on mainland China, at least not above ground, although there is also Chinese Freemasonry, which has a really interesting history. Might be worth exploring it sometime. If you are just joining, welcome. Thank you for being here. Please take a moment. Once again, hit like, hit subscribe. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. This is a shorter stream, but I just hang out, talk to people, see what you guys want to discuss. I also have my personal YouTube channel, which I don't want to forget about. It's a really important channel to me as well. I'm going to start trying to do way more stuff on there. So be prepared for that. YouTube.com/Cameron Adamson. I'm hoping to get to 400 subscribers if I can. So the Knights Templars are related. The Knights Templars predate Freemasonry, right? The Knights Templars existed from around 11 something or other until about 1308, when they were ordered disbanded and killed, actually, by the Pope and by the King of France. Freemasonry existed 400 years later. However, in 1737, a French Mason, or a Mason in France by the name of Chevalier Andrew Raymond, gave an oration. And in this oration, he claimed that Freemasons evolved from the Crusaders, which was meant to be, or understood to mean, the Knights Templars. But that's more, it's not a matter of it being a direct correlation. Rather, it's a French Mason looking back at the Knights Templars, seeing within it symbolism, ideas, morals that he wanted to emulate, and deciding to kind of create or retcon a connection, or a apocryphal connection. We're just going to keep hanging out, wait to see who joins. Once again, please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear it. I hope you guys are all doing well. It is 1 a.m. here, so hope you guys are getting, sleep as well. Um, don't be, for heaven's sakes, don't be staying up with me. I'll be back on tomorrow, 1 p.m. I got a few different things I want to talk about tomorrow as well. It is National Indigenous History Month. There's a really cool connection between Freemasons and Indigenous history, which I want to share. So, and also how we can celebrate that. Ty, welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you'll take a moment to hit like and subscribe if you're new. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, let me know. I mean, when you say, do I believe this? I'm not a Christian, so I don't believe in Satan, at least as a literal entity. I think I can believe him as a metaphor. I just got some artwork. I'm going to show it off tomorrow because no one seems to think I have any artwork. But I have a few. I just don't post anything because, I'm busy. I'm too busy to be posting stuff. I never heard the name Baal or Baal until I started this YouTube channel and people started telling me I was worshiping Baal. Baal has nothing to do with Freemasonry, nor does Satan. Bayside, you're looking up a bunch of nonsense on social media and believing a bunch of baloney. Freemasonry has there's no such thing as a Masonic God. Every Freemason believes in their own supreme being. In some cases, they might be Christian. In some cases, they might be Jewish. They might be Muslim. Freemasonry is not a religion, and it does not worship any entity, including Baal. Nor does it worship Lucifer, the light bearer. Someone's been reading way too much Albert Pike and not understanding it, which is fine. You don't have to understand it, but you don't know what you're talking about. Albert Pike did not speak for Freemasonry. He spoke for himself and his own philosophies. I never heard of Lucifer until I started this channel, and people kept telling me about him, or Baal, or Satan within Freemasonry. What appeals to you about Freemasonry? That's a really good question. And I like the way you said that, Crow's Milk. You didn't say what appeals to people because I don't know. Everybody has their own thing they love about Freemasonry. Every Mason who loves it and who genuinely, feels called to it has a different reason for it and a different thing about Freemasonry that appeals to them. For some, it's their tradition. For some, it's history. For some, it's friendship. For some, it's charity. For me, part of it is because my grandfather was a Freemason. And I did not get to meet him. He died before I was born. But being a Freemason makes me feel closer to him. And that is very appealing to me. But mostly it's because I feel like it gives me the opportunity to try to create a better world through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. There's a million ways to do that. This is the way I chose. Also, I think it's because I'm a naturally very curious person. And what I've seen indicated is that for Freemasonry, it's very often more likely that people who are curious tend to respond more positively to Freemasonry and find Freemasonry more appealing. I don't know why. I think it's probably connected to the fact that there's always something new to learn in Freemasonry. About to sneeze. Maybe? Maybe? Or will I sneeze? Maybe? Phew. We're all good. Gonna sneeze again. Phew. Hello, Daniel. Phew. Bayside is going to start to think I'm being possessed by a demon as I sneeze. I have no idea what you're talking about, Bayside. I have no idea what these posts are to which you refer. I did not know Israel was burning Baal statues. I don't think they are. I think You're looking at a bunch of nonsense on social media. Go to sneeze again? Maybe? No, I'm okay. Oof. Masons don't bow to Israel. Israel is a political entity. Some Masons might be Zionists. Some Masons might be opposed to Israel. Um, I mean, the idea of bowing to any state, no. Now, obviously, we should be like, I'm a Canadian first and then a Freemason, right? I love my country. So, the extent that I bow to anything, it's the laws of the country in which I live, which is Canada. I would expect Masons in Israel to feel the same way about Israel. I'd expect Masons in America to feel the same way about America. This idea, though, that Freemasonry is Jewish or Israeli is just not the case. Freemasonry started in England, not in Israel. Hello, silence is violence. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I don't know why we sneeze. I have no idea. I hope you're doing well. I was just in New York City. I'm not a huge fan of Rudy Giuliani, but Grasshopper, I was in New York City for 12 hours on a layover. I had to go from LaGuardia or from JFK to LaGuardia Airport. I got to see some very different parts of New York as I took the bus from one to the other. And it was really fun. It was beautiful. New York is a city that's growing on me a little bit, so. Are there Mason hunting groups in Texas? David, it would not shock me at all if there were Mason hunting groups in Texas, and for that matter, around the world. I know that some Masons, I know several Masons in Michigan that hunt. Um, there are looking at creating more affinity lodges. Affinity lodges are where you have lodges of men who share the same interests. They could share the interest of hunting, some share cooking, some it's Star Trek. I don't know of any off the top of my head, but I believe there's a bunch of them. It would not shock me at all. Or not lodges that are necessarily hunting lodges, but rather lodges where every year the guys organize hunting trips. You know, rent out a cabin, go hunting, go fishing. It would not shock. All right, Bayside, you're a dumb person and you're being stupid. And you know you're being stupid. My suspicion is you're probably leading a very bad life. And instead of focusing on creating a better life for yourself, you've decided to follow a bunch of conspiracy theories online. Because it's easier to do that than look in the mirror. We're not hunting anything other than chickens and deer and moose and elk and whatever else Masons hunt. I've known a lot of Masons who hunt, though. Real J, it is 1:41 a.m. 1:41 in the morning. Um, nice. I mean, I am sure you will find other Masons who hunt, and you know, I'm sure you'd find other Masons who'd be willing, not willing, but just wanting to go hunting with you. And you know, if you join a lodge and the lodge does not have any hunting expeditions, bring it up in lodge. Talk to the worshipful master. Suggest going on a hunting trip. You know, you're not just joining the lodge like as like a soulless, mindless automaton. You're joining the lodge as a person with your own ideas, your own thoughts, your own interests. You should absolutely be willing to discuss those with the lodge and encourage the lodge to take part. Whether it's you love hunting or you love cooking or you love fishing or whatever it is you love, you should try your best to bring those things, bring those interests into the lodge itself. That's a really cool thing to do. You know, I've said it before, I have no issue with hunting. I don't like it when people go hunting and then don't eat the animals. I think that's kind of cruel, but so long as whatever you hunt, whatever you kill, you eat and use as much of the animal as you can, then I say go for it. More power to you. Honestly, an animal that you hunt and kill is probably leading or led a better life than the animals I'm eating which are very often probably factory farmed. Hello, preacher. Thank you for being here. Many people would agree with you. There are many Christian Freemasons out there. Freemasonry, keep in mind, is not a religion. But preacher, thank you for being here. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them, and I hope you're doing well. Well, that is very good, David Solomon, and that's exactly the way it should be done. Um, the fact that you are not wasting any of the animal is absolutely the right approach. And like I said, I don't like the idea of hunting purely for sport. I've never understood that. But hunting for sustenance to eat the animal and also in compliance with the laws of the state, the laws of the county, I have no issue with that. It's probably, like I said, a more merciful way to go out than farm factories, that's for sure. I'm not crying, but I was sneezing a lot, so maybe it looks like I was crying. Please hit like and subscribe. I hope you enjoy the local lodge meeting tonight. I'm sure it'll be great. What is the final secret of Freemasonry? There is no secret, or the secret was known all along. The secret is the brothers we made along the way. I did not, Nam. Now I was there for 3 or 4 days. Keep that in mind. But I did not feel any racial tension in South Africa. I just met a lot of wonderful people who were incredibly friendly and incredible kind. And I was grateful to be there. Yes, Shaquille O'Neal is a Freemason. He's a member of Prince Hall Freemasonry. Supposedly he was made a Mason on site, but I understand that since that time he has actually gone ahead and got his degrees the honest way, if you want to use that term. There's nothing dishonest about being made a Mason on site if your jurisdiction allows it. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you all for being here. Please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear them. Masonic, there's not that much Masonic symbolism in Hollywood. People see things that they think are Masonic symbols and they're not. Like, give me an example of what you think is a Masonic symbol in Hollywood, and I'll tell you whether you're correct or incorrect. But my suspicion is you're incorrect. I mean, a good example of Masonic symbolism in Hollywood that's accurate would be From Hell, starring Johnny Depp. Not all of it, but some of it. There was a Murdoch Mysteries episode, which was similar as well. So there's that also. I don't know what that means, Mancha, but it sounds unkind. National Treasure with Nicolas Cage, that's a good one. I have real friends. Truth Claim, you're one of them. Welcome, thank you for being here. So if you guys were my real friends, you would help me out by hitting the like button and the subscribe button and help me get to over 4,060 subs. Right now I'm at 4,057, so I'm 3 away. I'm not really religious of any sort at the moment, and I'm happy with my beliefs. I don't think I need to add anything to them at the moment. But there's nothing wrong with being a Muslim or Jewish or Christian or Hindu or Sikh. The beautiful thing about Freemasonry is it welcomes all of these men of all these different faiths and beliefs and backgrounds. I think that's one of the greatest strengths of it. I heard that, Real J-Dog. I think he's passed away now, which means my suspicion is the world's tallest Mason as of June 2nd, 1:47 a.m. is Shaquille O'Neal. At least that's my suspicion. This square cup promotes the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located and promotes Masonic interest. So there you go. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Please take a moment. If you're new to the stream, hit like and hit subscribe. I would be truly grateful. Sir Jacob, thank you for being here. How is your night going? All right, Truth Claim. I appreciate it, but I don't plan on converting my faith. I don't plan on becoming Muslim or of any faith. So you might be wasting your time a little bit. I mean, you can be made a Mason on site, not in every jurisdiction, BAM or time, but some of them. It just depends on the jurisdiction. Um, there's no Masonic diamond hand sign. You are clearly do not know what you're talking about. Sometimes I do, to the extent that they affect Freemasonry, because as much as we like to think that as Freemasons we can kind of hide from the problems that exist in the world, that's just not the case, right? Whether we like it or not, um, the conditions of the world affect Freemasonry. And so, to the extent that those current events are affecting Freemasonry, I talk about them. Oh, the earliest recorded Masonic lodge is St. Mary's Chapel, if I recall correctly, in Scotland. I'd have to double check that, but I believe that's the case. Interesting side note, the earliest recorded square and compass symbol is actually located in Peru, likely carved by Spanish conquistadors or Spanish Masons. In a cool little side note, a lot of people don't realize it. They assume it must be in Europe, but it's not. It's in South America. Cool little side note, I always thought. But St. Mary's Chapel, I believe, P-Dub. I want to double check that to make sure. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope everybody's doing well. Please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry? I hope you guys are having an excellent, excellent day. Well, I would hope that we do not suffer at all, or at least we limit the suffering as much as possible. I don't think anybody can get through life without some suffering. Um, Having said that, I would agree. I would not want to spend eternity in, in hell. I think that'd be pretty terrible. Cool. My father and grandfathers were Masons. Both my father and both of my grandfathers were Masons. So it runs in my family as well. But that's awesome. I don't believe in reincarnation. Um, I mean, yes, Masonic history goes back far. Now, it depends on how you define Masonic history. Stonemasonry, the trade on which Freemasonry is based, um, stonemasonry, you could argue it goes back millions of years to when the first human ancestors created stone tools on the plains of Africa. But certainly you could say it goes back to Göbekli Tepe. I think I pronounced that correctly. Ancient Egypt, ancient Rome. Freemasonry is a much more modern invention. It dates to, at the earliest, I think 1634, give or take. You can believe in Jesus Christ and be a Freemason. I know many Freemasons who believe in Jesus Christ. I would say, in my experience, the majority of Freemasons believe in Jesus Christ. Well, Pauline, that's not good. I'm very sorry that happened. I hope that you talk to somebody about that, because I'm sure that is going to lead some challenges. I have no idea, Bentley Flyer, what you're saying. None of that makes any sense to me at all. But okay. Nate, no. No pineapple on pizza. You're welcome. And like I said, I hope you find somebody to talk to. I will say this, and Pauline, I'm assuming based on name that you're a female, but mental health is important for both men and women. June is Men's Mental Health Month. 75% of deaths through self-harm are from men. If you think you need to talk to somebody, find somebody to talk to. There's a lot of great supports out there. 988 is a great support. So I would recommend finding somebody to talk to if you feel like you need help. Göbekli Tepe. All right, Göbekli Tepe. I never know how to pronounce that correctly. But that's the earliest example, I think, of a stone kind of structures being used for housing and things like that, if I recall correctly. Though I can't remember for sure. Bayside, I would say just be careful if that becomes habit forming to the point where you can't get to sleep without it, you may need to talk to somebody. I do not know what that means, Bentley Flyer. I think you're just making up words at this point. Nobody knows what you're talking about. Once again, if you are new to the stream, thank you for being here. Please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, let me know. I am now 2 subscribers away from 4,060. I'm slowly but surely getting up to 5,000. You know, when I started, I was at 0. It's like Freemasonry. You just keep fighting and keep pushing and keep doing your best. A lot of sleepless nights. You get where you can. We're going to give it a bit more time. I'm not going to do this stream for too much longer, but I will be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. So you will find me then. But let's give it a few more minutes. Let's see who joins. Oops. Actually, I do want to do at some point a podcast about Göbekli Tepe. So we shall see. Nice. I love that, Rail. I mean, our Masonic buildings are truly special. In America, May was May in America was National Preservation Month, and the focus was on the preservation of historical places. Many Masonic lodges and buildings are listed in the National Register and are historical places. So I enjoyed talking about that quite a bit. And it's really important we keep that in mind and support our Masonic buildings because they really are pretty cool buildings. A lot of them were built in the 1920s. A lot of them were built in the 1950s during the great boom periods of Freemasonry, which means a lot of them are historical buildings and therefore have a lot of have a lot of importance to our communities, both in an architectural sense, a community sense, and historical sense. Real J, if you enjoy looking at old buildings, I have 2 Instagram accounts dedicated to promoting Masonic buildings, both the facades and the interiors. If you want to check them out, I'll put a link in the chat, or I'll put the name of them in the chat, and I hope you'll follow. If I could actually get them now. They are Masonic Buildings 1. So Real J Dog, it's Instagram.com/Masonic Buildings 1 and Masonic Building Interiors 1. And then square _ compass _ promotions. So there you go. You can check out, those are the 3. Masonic buildings and Masonic building interiors are about the lodges themselves. Square Compass Promotions is my more general YouTube account, or sorry, my general Instagram account, where I try to post a lot about Freemasonry and my channel outside of just focusing on the buildings themselves, because there's a lot more to Freemasonry than our buildings, but our buildings are an incredibly important part of it. So copy, paste, follow. I would be truly grateful. We're going to give it a bit more time. Wait to see who jumps on to say hello. Please take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. As always, any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, let me know. We're not gonna be going for too much longer because I got to get to sleep, get up tomorrow. I got a busy day tomorrow. I got a bunch of work I got to do. So, so when it comes to carrying firearms, that's going to be a local ordinance situation. I believe in Chicago they're not, but I think it's state by state, right? If you live in a state where it's maybe more gun friendly, then maybe. Some lodges may have security guards. I know many lodges in South America have security guards, um, without a doubt. I don't know about America, but many lodges are investing more money in security, including in Canada, where you're seeing lodges putting in cameras, putting in recording devices, better door locks, automatic door locks. So you don't need to use a manual key. You can keep track of who's entering and leaving the building. Better lighting around their buildings so you can see who's coming and going. More um, areas where you're keeping track of visitors and guests, sign-in books. Unfortunately, in 2025, and 2026, we simply need to have more security in our buildings. It's for our safety, the safety of our guests and visitors, and it shows that we are good stewards of our buildings. Actually, I would say Detroit Masonic Temple, though, does have security guards, but it makes sense because there's so much in there and there's so many things happening. You need security. People dance everywhere, Egg and Preet, is because dancing makes you happy. I mean, my lodge hasn't received any threats that I'm aware of, but it's also about what I'm aware of versus not aware of, right? Like, I'm a member of a lodge in Israel. My suspicion is that lodge has probably got some threats based on the fact that whenever I'm on here, I'm always getting anti-Semitic threats from people, even though I'm not Jewish. So, um, X, how many times can you hit the like and subscribe button? That's the better question. Real J Dog, it's unfortunate, but it does happen all the time. Um, we end up getting thrown under the bus. It's people are just struggling with life, I think, and they're looking for not just something to blame, but something to focus their energies on. If you're struggling in your life, it's easier instead of looking at how to fix it to spend your time posting about Freemasonry. It feels like I never sleep, Capones. It feels like I never sleep. Life is tough right now. Freemasonry, it's unfortunate because instead of attacking Freemasonry, if people actually supported Freemasonry, it could make life a lot less tough. So there is that. But I think a lot of people are struggling. And unfortunately, when people are struggling, I think the tendency is very often, instead of thinking about how we can pull together and create supports through civic groups, it's to isolate, which ultimately just makes things worse. Hello, Vaporware. What about the grandsons? Please hit like and subscribe. Vaporware. Freemasons are not whack. We're just regular dudes talking about trying to make the world a better place, or self improvement, or supporting one another. I mean, I can't speak for Israel. That's kind of weird. I can just speak for myself and say, I'm proud to be a member of a Masonic Lodge in Israel. That doesn't mean I support the government of Israel or what it's doing. I have a lot of concerns with it. So you guess you can take that for whatever it's worth. But there's some Freemasons who will support Israel and there's some who won't. Hello, Inon. Thank you for hello, Venus. Welcome back. Sure. I mean, it depends on the lodge, but really what it depends on is the building and how active the building is in the community. But, our Masonic building is a heritage building in Windsor. So we've had different, city officials visit it for a variety of reasons, including the mayor, who visited on several occasions. I thought that was really cool. when he came to visit it. I was grateful for all of his visitations. Um, I was and still am. So, yeah. It just depends on how important the building is, but many of our Masonic buildings have been incredibly important to the cultural and the civic and the architectural character of our communities. And therefore, they very often get visits by politicians who'll give them like a plaque or a special certificate or some type of attaboy for the good work that's done. Or many Masonic lodges will apply for grants to upkeep their buildings from the city, and very often that involves having a visit from the mayor or city councilors. Um, there you go, Real J Dog. I mean, many times, yeah. It's kind of like saying just because you're an American, it doesn't mean you automatically support the government of America. You should support the country, but not necessarily the politicians. You may have your different views of what you want to see from America or any country, right? That's just human nature. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Hope you're all doing well. I do not know what those symbols mean, Venus, but don't smoke. Smoking is bad for you. If you guys want to take a moment, consider a super chat, like, subscribe, follow. It would be truly, truly appreciated. Oops, sorry about that. Follow me on Instagram. As I was saying, find me on all my different channels. That helps out very much. We're going to give this stream another maybe 5 minutes. It's been about an hour. I'll be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. though. So I hope to see you all then. We'll just give it a couple more. I hope I answered at least some questions about Freemasonry. Tomorrow, National Indigenous History Month is what I plan to talk about. So there's a lot of cool connection between Freemasonry and Indigenous history. Thank you for the sparkles as well, whatever you say. That's incredibly kind as well. Thank you to all my members and all the supporters. It is truly, truly appreciated. All right. I think we're good. Looks like no one's going to leave any comments at the moment. I'll be back on June 2nd, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about National Indigenous History. I know of Jesse Ventura. I don't know him, but I know of him as a wrestling fan. Of course, I know him. What a life story he has. The number of different jobs he has is absolutely incredible. Oh my gosh, thoughts on the Iran war. I mean, I think it was probably a pretty terrible idea. I don't think it's going well. For me, however, my concern, obviously, I've talked about this before, is the fact that there are so many Masons in harm's way. There's Masonic lodges in Jordan, there's Masonic lodges in Lebanon, there's Masonic lodges in Israel, there's the Grand Lodge of Iran in Exile, which meets in Los Angeles. There's Masons who are serving in war. There's Masonic lodges on Middle Eastern military bases. And I want all of them to be safe. And I want there to be as little loss of life as possible. So I guess that's what I'd say. Um, Beyond that, thank you, everybody, for being here. There's no such thing as a bigwig in Freemasonry. We're all equal, consider yourself. But no. But he is a Grand Lodge officer. He's a bigwig in life. How about we put it that way? Um, I think it'd be really cool to see Jesse Ventura run for president. He would say some interesting things. He'd keep it very fascinating, that's for sure. The King of Canada is King Charles. So sorry, Carney. Um, I know it can feel that way. It's very hard to see what's happening in the world and have hope, but I think we want to try to have hope as much as possible, though it's not always easy. Be like the Hope statue in the Lodge of Good Hope in South Africa and survive through the challenge. No, Canada owns Canada, but Britain does have a King of Canada. Um, We have a governor general as well. But at the end of the day, Canadians make their own decisions and own themselves. All right, guys. 1 hour in, we are all set. Thank you all for being here. I hope you're doing well. I hope that as I leave, you'll hit the like button and the subscribe button. You'll find my social media accounts. You'll follow me there. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Today, technically, June 2nd, 1 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night. Thank you once again for being here.